Welcome to the Brunch Club, where we champion all amazing women. Join us to fill your cup with inspiration and encouragement as our guests share their personal stories, experiences with careers, family, parenting, equality, mentoring, and advice.
Well, welcome to this next virtual episode of the Brunch Club. And my guest today is Kristin HERR. She is an inspirational life coach. I'm messing this up. You just told me how to say it. Now I'm forgetting.
No worries. I would do mindset life coach.
No, wait, say that one more time.
Mindset life coach.
Okay, mindset life coach.
Yeah.
Okay, and since we're all about being authentic, I'm going to keep that because I don't always get it right. So,
no worries.
What does that mean exactly?
Well, I'm a life coach, but when I say mindset, I really dive into the whole piece of the limiting beliefs and the stories we tell ourselves and how to change that. Because most of the time, in my opinion, the things that hold people back isn't strategies or the know-how to. It's all between their head, and it's their programming, and there's a whole process around shifting that.
Okay, how did you get into this?
Well, it's been quite a journey. So I actually was in the hair industry for 20 years, and I have really been coaching people behind the chair for 20 years. And
I do feel like my hair gal, my colorist, she could double as a therapist for sure.
Absolutely. And really when I started, we kind of back up here. So 12 years ago, I ended up in a physically and emotionally abusive relationship. And I was one of the
so many, not to minimize it at all, but like so many of us have.
Absolutely. And I think more people have that, they just don't talk about it.
Well, it's the silent crime. 1 in 4 women in America have been through it. And honestly, I think I read that the majority is like high-powered, type A, overachieving women, because they like to apply the same tools that they apply to their business, to their personal life. Right. And they're like, well, I can fix it.
Right. That's right. We always think red flags were there, but I ignored them. But that's
so that was 10 or 15. No, 15.
That was about 12 years ago that I actually was in that. I got out. So it's been about 11 years that I was actually out of that. So when I was in that relationship, I got into network marketing, and that's kind of what
were you still doing hair or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I've still been doing hair, and I actually just recently quit doing hair at all. So I got into network marketing, and it was kind of like I saw it as like a way out. But the thing is with network marketing is most companies really encourage, and teams, they encourage people to really go, work on themselves. And that's how I really got started with the whole personal growth, personal development. In a lot of ways, I honestly think the industry saved my life, because even though I had gone to some therapy before, I don't think I would have really dove so deep in the personal development and personal growth piece.
Yeah. Okay.
And in just the last couple of years, I started showing up more on social media, sharing my story, realizing I had a little bit of a gift where people were able to connect with me. And I knew that just based on my clients in the hair salon. And I started speaking up about the things I had been going through. And I was like, I decided to, after the signs were there, I went and got my life coaching certification. And I have dove deeper into the mindset piece and the whole neuroplasticity thing around that as well. But I can kind of geek out a little bit on that. So.
That's okay. I love that you're passionate about it, and you're educating me because I don't know anything about this.
Okay. So I've studied with Dr. Shannon Irvine. I did her Epic Success Academy. She is a neuropsychologist, and I've also read a lot about this and how our brains work and how we can actually rewire our brains. Most of us, I'm gonna say everyone, was programmed from the time that they were 7 years old. That is why you you're that's why it's so hard for people to make lasting change, because you can't out hustle, out will what your mind is programmed to do, no matter how hard you try. It's just not going to work. And a lot of people have limiting beliefs that were there from a child. I can pinpoint where mine came from. And that whole piece, a lot of people cannot, but I know exactly where mine came from, of unworthiness and not good enough. And when that is how your autopilot is, it's always going to be a struggle. You're always going to be stuck. It's always going to feel like I'm hustling, I'm trying, but it's just not happening. It has to do with your programming, and there is a way to change it.
Okay.
So the way someone changes let me give you an example. Mm-hmm. Someone who maybe has a side hustle, maybe they're trying to lose weight. That's a good one, because most people at the big, we'll talk about that, because everyone at the beginning of the year, they set their New Year's resolution. I'm going to lose 20 pounds.
10 pounds. Yeah.
Whatever. I'm going to go to the gym 4 to 5 days a week. By the third, fourth week, they've already quit going to the gym and they're into the bag of Oreos. And it all has to do with because of their identity and their programming. They don't see themselves as a healthy person. So even though they're trying super hard, they self-sabotage themselves and go back to that old behavior, no matter how hard they try.
Okay. So where do you come in here? How do you reprogram?
Okay. Well, where I come in is I help people first identify the limiting beliefs, the false stories that they're telling themselves, how they're self-sabotaging themselves. And then we go to work on rewiring that. It's a constant thing that you'll always have. Things will come up, like I say, new level, new devil that you're working on. I work on mine every single day. So the how you start this is you have to start to pay attention to your self-talk. What are you saying to yourself? Are you procrastinating? What are your patterns? And that is the first thing that you have to recognize. Most people are so much on autopilot, they don't even realize the negativity they're saying to themselves. I can't, I'm not. Most people don't say that they're not good enough or they're not worthy, but it shows up with their actions, with the procrastination. It shows up, well, who am I to do a Facebook Live? Who am I to teach on something? That's just an example. Who am I to be the teacher? Who am I to, that imposter syndrome. So
now, how do you like meet with people like once a week, or do they meet with you once a month or quarterly? And then is there like homework in between, or, how does that, like, how do you keep up with people to hold them accountable, to hold themselves accountable? This is something they have self-selected. They've said, I want this, right? But then how do you keep them on track? And how long is that process?
Well, my recommendation is I recommend one-on-one coaching. I do it virtually online through Zoom meetings. I have an 8-week program. It's called Making Mindset Moves. Yes, I say there's homework and quotation marks. There are exercises, because unless you start to pull this stuff out and see it, you can't change it. And so I'm the one that holds them accountable. You got to do the work. Is it hard? It's not really hard to say, but it takes some consistency. At first, it's a little hard because you're so much on autopilot. You don't even realize that to pull those subconscious, those thoughts out. Okay. And so you have to write down what you're saying to yourself.
So as part of this 8-week mindset, do you is there a lot of one-on-one? Like, do you only take on, for instance, like 10 clients at a time, right? Or, 2 clients at a time? I mean, how do you manage everyone and give them that personal attention?
I do not take on a bunch of clients. I am a mom first and foremost. I have a 3-year-old little boy. So my goal, I'm not going to have 10 one-on-one clients that I'm doing every day. And I keep that really small so they have that personalized attention. And I give them what you get weekly hour one-on-one coaching sessions with me through video chat. And then you also have access to me through Voxer. So as things are coming up, we we talk through it throughout this whole program, and I help you through it and help you really start to recognize some of these things that are going on and to start shifting your self-talk. It really is about shifting that self-talk.
How do you find, like, when people were in your chair, right? And they're coming in every 4 to 6 weeks to do their roots, for instance, right? So you see them all the time and you build up this rapport and trust. How do you get people to break down their walls, to be honest and truthful, not only with you, but with themselves, and to trust you, like, what is that like, or is that part of the homework stuff? Like, how do you get that breakdown, especially over like virtually? That's gotta be tough.
It is a little tough, but to be honest with you, what I have found, and I don't know why this is, people open up to me rather quickly. And I think it's just maybe my demeanor. I don't want to say I have some special gift, but I kind of think I do. It's something that I've been told, like, by multiple people who don't even know me. It's so easy for me to open up to you. But I also am really clear with, like, what you said. Coaching to me, as far as like confidentiality, is like your attorney, your therapist, your doctor. What you say to me doesn't go anywhere. That is super private. And I think that's why I have built so much trust with even my clients behind the chair, because they know that about me. And they know that in my salon environment, we're not gossiping about them or talking about them. I am very, very careful of that confidentiality and what people share with me, and making sure that stays with me. And I think that is where you really get that trust factor, not just saying it, but showing it obviously with actions. And you obviously have the video chat and having that calming piece too. And I started out by saying, anything you share with me is completely, confidential. And I've had people that, I had never coached with, had only talked to once, who were like, oh my gosh, I have never been this candid with anybody before in my life. And I don't know why you just put me at ease and I'm able to talk to you.
Wow. So just anonymously then, what's like a great success story that you're able to share, if you can?
Well, right now, a lot of people are really struggling with the pandemic, and this is kind of going off of I had a client who was really struggling with losing her business, and then this whole like scarcity mindset piece, and it was all, and I got it, like this whole circular thinking and of the negativity, doom and gloom, and just fear. It really was a sense of fear. And one thing that we really
a lot of people are feeling that right now. She's
absolutely
not alone. Yes.
And really helping her work through that, and just being like, okay, this is where you're coming from, a place of scarcity, a place of fear. Let's just talk about this for a minute. Like, what's the worst case scenario? Nobody wants to go there, but really let's look at your worst case scenario, and let's start shifting your thoughts, because this is going to help you, even if the worst case scenario happens, to be okay with it, because at the end of the day, you're going to be okay. Maybe things aren't exactly how you want them to be, which aren't for a lot of people right now, but that you're going to be okay. And thinking doom and gloom and fear and being in that place of fear or scarcity is not helping at all. I think it just magnifies it. It adds anxiety, depression. It causes health problems. And you got to shift that. You have to shift it. And to be honest with you, I had a couple of weeks there where I was struggling a little bit too. I have that, I'm more aware. I have that awareness about it just because of my background. But I had some moments where it was, it's kind of tough, just with everything that's going on in our society and world right now. I'm not immune to it by any means. My world my life at home has shifted. Yeah. That's for sure. And, just really pay attention. My number one tip for people is pay attention to what you're saying to yourself. What are the stories that you're saying to yourself? Why the reason something won't work, all the can'ts, You know, we make excuses all the time. And you know what? Those excuses are a bunch of BS. And I know because I've had them too. Everything that I teach my clients, I do myself and have done myself.
Wow.
So,
so there you have it.
I get a little fired up about it because I know the power of this. And I know that people really can make lasting change in their lives, and it all really comes down to a decision, to a belief, and starting to do the work. It doesn't take hours of work every day. It just takes a little bit of awareness and a little bit of changing that. Like I listen to a recording of myself daily where
Really?
I'm priming my brain to like shift this stuff. So
Wait, like you listen to like what specifically?
So, this is part of what I learned from Dr. Shannon Irvine, and this has been for a lot of people with the mindset. Dr. Joe Dispenza a lot with the whole neuroplasticity piece. So what it comes down to is when you really start to identify these stories that you're telling yourself, you've written them down, and you start to see what you're saying to yourself. You got to ask yourself, you know, is this really true or not? And so what I do is I pull that stuff out, and then I have voice recorded myself with, it's a little bit more than affirmations because it's my voice, and it's stating, you know, really what the reality is, what the truth is for something. So for instance, okay, let's say you're trying to build a business and you feel like you just don't have what it takes, right? You say that to yourself, I don't have what it takes. Well, is that really true? More than likely not. That's not true. That's just a limiting belief that you put on yourself. So you would record yourself saying, I have everything it takes to build a business. And you start to listen to this. I have it. I am worthy. I'm good enough. And I know it sounds a little cheesy, but it works. And I listen to it in the morning when I get up. It's about 5-6 minutes. And then I listen to it before I go to bed. And that is programming my subconscious to work for me.
Okay,
And
anyone can do this, like on my phone.
You can do it. Yeah,
like you've got this like voice memo thing, right? I mean, you can just leave yourself a little message.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's exactly what I have. It is on my voice recorder, and I have the message, and I just listen to myself. And it can be for anything. Okay, so I even have for weight loss. Okay, I've struggled with weight my entire life, and that is something and that's me shifting my identity. And one of the things is, hey, I am healthy, I am energetic, I am at my goal weight of 140 pounds, whatever that is. You know, you say that, and you're programming your brain. And the more you do that, and the visualization of you already achieving your goals, the faster you're going to achieve them. There's a lot to the visualization piece too, when you do that daily, as if you've already achieved something.
I love the affirmations. I think I was actually having a conversation this morning with my mother, and like, what is the odds of like the timing of this? But it was about the importance of affirmations. And she's always been really good about affirming me and my sisters.
That's
like,
awesome.
You are smart, you know, you can do it, right? Like a lot of it's like rah stuff, but like, you know, you kind of want that from your mom. And her point to me this morning was she didn't get it when she was growing up. It really wasn't like culturally, you know, I just don't think that there was a lot of self-awareness from the parents of that generation to sit back and be like, you're great, you're wonderful. It was a lot more like, you're going to do this, and like, good luck with that, you know? So I just think generationally, like my parents, you know, they're in their mid 60s now. And, you know, then I have 2 kids, and she was like, you know, I'll make sure you affirm them all the time and tell them they're great and they're wonderful.
Oh, I think it's really important, because I didn't get that at all growing up. I was raised in a very strict Southern Baptist home, and there wasn't a whole lot of, you know, awareness around things like that at all. And I know my parents definitely didn't get that. And it's something that I have a 3-year-old that I think it's really important. And, I'm like, you can do anything, and really having him have that growth mindset, not the fixed mindset, because I realized that was something that I have, a growth mindset of, you can get better at something. It's not just the way it is. You can learn, you can evolve, you can practice, and you can get better, and knowing your own worth. And I think personally, not that I am not a child psychologist or any expert or anything when it comes to children. But I think the biggest thing with kids is making sure that they know that they're loved.
Yeah.
And if I feel like that is half the battle, if your child knows that you love them no matter what, and they really, a core know that,
I think
that
that's
is half the battle.
Regardless of any generation, I feel like there's a lot of that going on. But I like what I'm taking a little note here. I like what you said about that growth mindset. I think that that's important for people. Like you set a goal, right? Regardless if it's your weight or your business or your children or whatever, right? Well, when that goal's over and you've accomplished it or whatever, right? That doesn't mean that you're done. Like all right, well, what's the next goal? What's the growth mindset? What's after that? So keeping, motivated, especially during times of uncertainty where maybe you can't really predict what's coming 6 months from now, but, maybe it's those little things.
It is the little things. I honestly think, and I know this too, it really is the little things. Too many times people get so focused on, the result that they want, and they don't focus on the small little thing that they can do daily. And that's part of where coaching comes in. We get really clear on what you want. We get clear on what's holding you back, and we get a game plan, and we hold accountability, and we work with the mindset piece, because science has proven it really is 80% mindset, and all of it is 20% actions, and it's 80% your thoughts and all that. Like, that's proven. That's not just me saying that. That's scientifically proven. And if you have the right mindset and you have the right strategies, you'll be unstoppable.
And I think that is, it applies to so many things. Back to where we started about being in an abusive relationship. They talk about, well, how long will someone stay? Like statistically. And, the average, is really high of like number of incidences of abuse before someone leaves. But once, I've interviewed a lot of women about this. Once they decide and they've made that mental decision that I'm out, then they're out. There's no coming back from it. So I think, that works the same for diet or
absolutely.
Exercise. Once I've decided and I really mean it, then that's it. I mean, I gotta tell you, I've always been into fitness, and like I played college soccer, and like but after having 2 kids and life, whatever, like I kind of got out of it. Like, even though I still was like going to the gym,
sure,
like my heart wasn't really in it. Right.
I get that.
And then I did this, and you'll see where I'm going with this. I'm gonna circle it around. I did this 8-week challenge with my trainer, who I had kind of stopped seeing him, and all the pandemic and extra wine and extra bread and, all of that. And I just decided, I was like, I am really into it. And it was like a healthy 8-week challenge of like, eating better, exercising more regularly, drinking more water, like different, listen to a health podcast, like different things. But I was really ready for that message. And it was like, okay. And I've noticed a huge difference in everything else in my life because of it. So I think and I'm circling this around to your 8-week program. When people decide they're ready, then, it's going to take, right?
That's exactly right. And most people, I'm saying most people, a lot of people, and this is something I struggle with too. I'm very candid about things like this. You say, oh, I made a decision. I'm going to lose that 15 pounds, or I'm going to crush it in this business. And then the doubt starts creeping in, or you have that one setback or that one bad week or bad day. And you let that what's the use? And you let that control you instead of like, okay, I had a bad day. So what? Okay, things didn't turn out the way I thought they would today or this week. You got to get back up and get going. And that's the whole thing with the whole decision. Most people haven't 100% made a decision. They're still in like limbo, back and forth.
Is there something magic about this 8 weeks that I'm seeing? Is it like, is that how it takes to change behavior, or is everyone just into 8 weeks right now? Because that's as far as we can allow ourselves to think ahead. I don't know.
Well, I feel like, and I know this too, ideally you would come out and like work for a year, but that's just not realistic for a lot of people. And it takes about, from the time you really start reprogramming your brain, it takes about 66, 67 days for it to be lasting. That's why, they say it takes 21 days to create a new habit. Yes and no. At 21 days, you're neck and neck with the old programming. So that's why a lot of people will that's why after like 3 weeks, they'll quit going to the gym. So you have to push through that. And the longer that you can push through that, you get to that 66, 67 day mark is where you really start to make where it starts to become automatic. You have the automatic habit. It's just part of your identity. It's part of who you are. It's part of how you're programmed. And the 8 weeks, I feel like that's 8 weeks. You can get a lot done in 8 weeks. People can start seeing some changes in their mentally and some results. And that's why I think 8 weeks. You can do like a 1 week. I do have like a 1 week intensive where people get like 2 45 coaching sessions. And then they also have access to me to Voxer. It's going to help get you started, especially if you're not ready to make a huge commitment like that. But it's not going to be, you're just not going to get as much out of it.
What's the Voxer? What is that?
Voxer. So it's voice chat.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You could do email or text message, but I like Voxer, Voxer, and it's just your voice chat. I do that with people that, it's just like if you have Messenger on Facebook that you're talking to people.
Got it.
It's just a way of communication. So they have access to me. At the end of the day, they have daily access to me.
Got it. Okay. So what is on the horizon with you as you're building this business and this coaching and all these different things that, help people better their happiness and their lives? What's next? What's on the horizon?
Well, actually, I am in the process right now of creating a course, and I'm going to be teaching at it's called iAwesome. I'm going to get this wrong. It's the International University of Self-Mastery. It's going to be coming out in October. I think our launch date is like October 5th, but it's kind of going back and forth. So I'm going to be teaching on that platform. A whole course about, the power, mindset, neuroplasticity, and rewiring your brain, changing your thoughts to work for you instead of against you. And then I'm also going to be offering a free course on there about not just Think and Grow Rich, but how to actually apply Think and Grow Rich. So that's the big thing that I am doing right now, is getting that up and running. I have signed the contract.
Will you send me links to all of those? Because when I post this video, I'm going to want to make sure I put links to those in addition to your website and your social pages.
I will. The university isn't up for public yet, so I don't have that exact link just yet. But
okay.
I'll get that to you. But that's what's new on the horizon.
Or as long as it's on your website, because that's really exciting. I like that. iAwesome. That's
it's the initials. It's IAUSM. So it stands for International Academy. I got because sorry. Hang on one second.
So I literally wrote it down as iAwesome, and I was like, that's really
it's the International Academy of Universal Self-Mastery.
There you go. Okay. Thank you.
I know, that's okay.
I have to write everything down.
No worries, I get that.
Okay. How else can people get in touch with you?
So people can check me out on my website, KristinHerr.com. That's KristinHerr.com. Kristin Herr at KristinHerr.com is my email. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I am on LinkedIn and the other social media platforms. Facebook's my main one. I have a group that I'm growing right now that is fairly new in the works. It is called Women Who Want More. It's really about helping women find balance doesn't exist, but living a more fulfilled life at the end of the day. And especially right now with the pandemic, we're back in this 1950s role. That's how I feel. Like mama's at home cooking all the meals, taking care of the kids, and daddy's doing more of the work. And a lot of times the moms are trying to do work too. And there's this weird setback, I feel like, that's kind of happened here in our roles in the home, and just helping women, especially, deal with that negative self-talk and their mindset, and making sure that they're caring for them. And, I think that's so important for me. The way I care for myself right now, it's not always easy, but for me, it's waking up earlier before my son, which normally means getting up at 5:30, doing my meditation, reading my book, writing in my gratitude journal, doing some yoga, and that makes me a better mother, a better wife, just a better person.
That's a good routine. I think a lot of people would be, on a good path if they could integrate a routine like that into their mornings.
Yeah, it's been really helpful for me, especially with the pandemic, and just keeping me more grounded and happier.
Well, I think we should all give that a try. So.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for coming on today and telling everybody about what's going on with you. And this was a lot of good advice. I took a lot of notes.
Thanks, Rachel. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. We're out. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks for stopping by the Brunch Club. It's been our pleasure to share this time with you, and I look forward to bringing you more sparkling inspiration soon. If you have feedback, topics, or want to nominate someone to be a guest on the show, please reach out to us at rachel@sundaybrunchagency.com. Cheers.